Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Tammy, and I also have Holly joining us today for another Lancaster Safety Webinar Wednesday. Today, we'll be discussing the topic of heat illness prevention. Whether you're working outside on a hot day or inside in a heat-producing area, heat-related illnesses could affect you. By attending today's presentation and taking the necessary steps to avoid heat-related illnesses, our hope is that you'll learn ways to beat the heat. If this is your first time joining LSCI webinar, well, welcome. Let me give you a little introduction. We are a full-service OSHA compliance firm that has primary focuses on making sure each employee gets home safely each day from work. Our slogan is taking safety beyond the standard. This means that we want to go above OSHA standards and make sure our clients are building a safety culture and being safe because they want to, not because they have to. We want to provide top-notch service that really makes an impact on people's lives. Again, I'm here with Holly, and she's going to go over our agenda for today.
Good afternoon. Today we'll be reviewing what heat illness is, the factors that lead to heat illness, the symptoms of heat illness, and what types there are, and how to prevent these heat-related illnesses.
Thanks, Holly. Let's start off by discussing what exactly heat illness is. Heat illness is caused by the buildup of heat in the body. Generally, it's generated by the muscles during work activity and heat coming from warm and hot environments. As we know, when the body is unable to cool itself by sweating, several heat-induced illnesses may occur, such as heat stress, heat exhaustion, the more severe heat stroke, or even result in death. We'll look at each one of these in a more detailed manner later on. When the body overheats, though, less blood flows to the muscles being activated, the brain, and other internal organs. So while it may just look like someone is sweaty and could use a drink of water, more serious things are happening underneath the surface. According to the BLS, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, there are over 2,800 heat-related injuries each year. Wow, that's a big number. By taking proper precautionary measures and knowing the symptoms to look for, Holly, we could avoid these injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. As strain from the heat becomes more severe, there can be a rapid rise in body temperature and heart rate. You may not even realize that this is happening because there's no pain. Mental performance can also be affected with just an increase in a body temperature of 2 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. An increase of 5 degrees Fahrenheit can result in serious illness or even death. During hot weather, heat illness may be an underlying cause of other types of injuries as well, such as heart attacks on the job, falls, and equipment accidents arising from poor judgment. Use of personal protective equipment should also be continuously evaluated to ensure the right items are being used at the right time. Heat exposure can increase the risk of injuries simply due to fogged up safety glasses.
Who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
But right now's the time that we love the most, right, Holly? Is the instant safety quiz. So everyone get ready to get your fingers on the button to answer. The question for today is elevated core body temperature may cause one of the following. So if you all can put in your answers, I see some coming through right now. It's always interesting to see how many get these right.
That's
Normally
right.
They're always pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think it looks like everybody's gotten them in. And so if you answered D, all of the above, you did a fantastic job. That's the correct answer.
Great job. All right, now it's time to consider all the factors that can contribute to increasing body temperature when determining if a heat hazard is present. Heat illness contributors can include physical activity or workload, the air temperature, humidity, sunlight, how the air is moving, heat sources such as ovens or furnaces, heat-absorbing roofs and road surfaces, clothing that impedes the body's ability to lose excess heat, such as certain protective gear, and individual or personal risk factors such as pre-existing health conditions and lifestyle. In addition to a thermometer, use these resources to assess heat stress. An on-site wet bulb globe temperature meter, WBGT, is the most accurate way to measure environmental heat impact on body temperature. It incorporates temperature, humidity, sunlight, and air movement into a single measurement. You can also download the NIOSH OSHA Heat app on either iOS or Android to access a simple heat calculator on your device. Remember that the Heat app provides only the heat index, not the WBGT, although it does also provide workload guidance.
Thanks, Holly. There are
Mhm.
also many other factors that can lead to heat illness. These include high temperature of humidity, direct sun exposure, indoor radiant heat exposure, limited air movement, advanced age, pregnancy, medications, physical conditions or health problems, always not enough fluids. Seems like we never drink enough water, PPE and clothing being worn, previous heat-related illnesses, clothing, physical exertion, and lastly, lack of recent exposure.
So elevated core body temperatures can cause the following illnesses. They can cause heat exhaustion, heat stroke, heat cramps, heat syncope, which is fainting, heat rash, or rhabdomyolysis, which is when the muscle tissues break down, causing damage to the kidneys. We'll take a closer look at some of these now in a quick video.
Heat stress can happen indoors or outdoors and is frequently the result of the body not being acclimated to the heat. Our bodies need time to adjust to temperature change. Do you know the signs and symptoms of heat stress? For example, if your coworker is looking tired, is sweating heavily, seems irritable, is experiencing dry mouth, and is explaining how nauseous and dizzy they are they experiencing heat stroke, heat exhaustion, heat cramps, or a heat rash? These symptoms are signs of heat exhaustion. It is important to know the signs and symptoms of all heat-related illnesses so you know how to respond. Avoid heat-related illnesses by paying attention to your safety and health training and practice the following. Stay hydrated and monitor individual hydration throughout the work shift. Implement work or rest cycles and job rotations. Conduct hazard assessments on jobs or job tasks and note which one carries a higher risk of heat stress or heat illness and what prevention methods can be implemented. Be safe at work and stay cool.
Let's start with heat exhaustion. This is your body responding to the loss of salt and fluids during sweating. Several early signs of heat exhaustion include headaches, dizziness, lightheadedness, sudden mood changes such as irritability or confusion, heavy sweating, or moist skin. The individual with heat exhaustion may also experience vomiting or an upset stomach.
Yeah, the most serious heat-related illness, though, is a heat stroke. Heat strokes occur when the body has lost the ability to regulate its core temperature. An individual will exhibit excessive sweating, but will eventually stop sweating as the body can't rid itself of heat anymore. The skin will become dry and hot as the body temperature continues to rise. The individual may also show signs of confusion, irrational behavior, convulsions, coma, or the worst of everything, death. More than 20% of people who suffer from heat stroke, Holly, even young and healthy adults, they can die of a heat stroke. An average of 500 people are killed each year in the United States by the effects of heat. Crazy numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Survivors of a heat stroke can be very sensitive to heat for months after the incident and may also have varying degrees of brain and kidney damage. Knowing the prevention methods and symptoms that we're talking about are critical in situations like this. So it's awesome that we're speaking about it so we can be preventative.
Absolutely. So the best way to treat any heat-related injury is to identify whether it's a heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Some of the key differences are as follows. With heat exhaustion, the victim will still have signs of sweating, they'll feel dizzy or faint. Just have the victim sit or lie down in a cool shaded area, provide them with water or other cool electrolyte beverages, and ice packs if you can. Take them to seek medical attention if their symptoms don't improve in an hour or so. If an individual is experiencing a heat stroke, they will often stop sweating, experience a severe headache, and often lose consciousness. When this happens, call 911 right away. While waiting, move the victim to a cool shaded area. You provide them with water or other cool electrolyte beverages if they're conscious. Loosen or remove clothing to apply ice packs. Fan air on the skin and or wet them with cool water. Lastly, stay with them at all times until help arrives.
Yes, that's definitely important. Never leave someone in need.
Yep.
But that leads us into our next Insta safety question. All are factors that can lead to heat stress except A, high temperature, B, limited air movement, C, consuming too much water, or D, inadequate tolerance for hot atmospheres. As before, everyone hit your buttons, get your answers in. I can see some tallies on the side there coming up.
This is a tough one.
The great thing is even if they get it wrong, they'll learn the right answer, right?
That's right. That's right.
That's what's important. All right, folks, it looks like everyone has gotten their answers in. And so if you answered C, consuming too much water, you would be correct. So nice job.
Yeah, great. All right, so what should we do for heat-related illnesses? If you or a coworker are experiencing a heat-related illness, the first thing you need to do is get help by calling 911. Next, move the victim to a cool shaded area. This can be in a tent, in a trailer, under a tree, or any indoors area that might be cool, whichever is most easily accessible. You need to cool the person down right away as best you can. You can remove outer layers of clothing, especially heavy protective clothing. You can place ice or cold wet towels on their head, neck, trunk, armpits, and groin. You can use fans to circulate air around the worker, or you can pour cold water on them gently, or try an ice bath by gathering an available ice into a large container and then pouring them onto the person. Always do this gently. Never leave a person with heat-related illness alone. Again, this illness can rapidly become worse, so you need to stay with them.
So one of the key takeaways from that is never leave the victim. They always need some attention. So preventing heat-related illness is key in what we've been talking about. So heat conditions can quickly change, as Holly explained. You might walk out of your doorway in the morning with a jacket on and by lunchtime be sweating from the heat. So make sure you check your phone app. That's what I always do. Make sure to plan ahead by doing those things like checking the weather report, packing healthy snacks, food, water, and lightweight clothing. Be aware of your own risk factors. There should be a designated person that is responsible for monitoring the conditions and implementing your company's heat plan throughout the workday. However, everyone at your workplace should be prepared and try to plan ahead. There are several resources you can use to help keep yourself and your team safe, though. This training today is a good start, but also check out OSHA's Technical Manual, or the OTM, Section 3, Chapter 4, under heat stress, which provides technical information about assessing heat hazards. A federal agency collaboration that includes OSHA, the National Integrated Heat Health Information System, has also compiled a list of guidelines, web pages, and documents with information with keeping the public, including workers, safe in the heat. OSHA also has a campaign to keep workers safe in the heat. So those are all really good documents and resources to check out.
Knowing the signs and symptoms of heat-related illness will allow you to monitor yourself and coworkers from developing a heat-related illness. Allow yourself to become acclimatized to the hot weather or work environment, and if you can, block out direct sun or other heat sources. Use cooling fans, air conditioning if possible, and designated shaded rest areas. Take rest breaks regularly. These breaks allow your body to naturally cool down while you hydrate. A rule of thumb is to drink half your body weight in fluid ounces of water per day. Only drink water and electrolyte type beverages. Avoid alcohol, caffeinated drinks, or heavy meals. Wear lightweight, light-colored, loose-fitting clothing so that your skin can breathe. Do not take your shirt off unless necessary to help treat a heat stroke victim.
Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to go over these National Emphasis Program announcements from OSHA. On April 8, 2022, OSHA announced its National Emphasis Program, or NEP, for outdoor and indoor heat-related hazards. The NEP is still in effect today. The goal of OSHA's National Emphasis Program is to reduce or eliminate worker exposures to heat-related hazards that result in illness, injuries, and deaths. OSHA's plan to accomplish this is through targeting industries and work sites. including work sites with radiant heat sources, where employees are exposed to heat-related hazards and have not been provided adequate protection. Adequate protection can include things such as cool water, rest, cool areas, training, and acclimatization. OSHA's goal will be accomplished by a combination of enforcement, which includes inspection targeting, outreach to employers, and compliance assistance. More recently, in addition to this NEP, OSHA has announced a proposed rule to protect indoor-outdoor workers from extreme heat. The proposed rule would require employers to develop an injury and illness prevention plan to control heat hazards in workplaces affected by excessive heat. Among other things, the plan would require employers to evaluate heat risks and, when heat increases, risks to workers, implement requirements for drinking water, rest breaks, and control of indoor heat. It would also require a plan to protect new or returning workers unaccustomed to working in high heat conditions. If you haven't already, Lancaster Safety highly recommends putting a heat-related plan into place as well as training to get ahead of the game. If this is something you need assistance with, please contact Lancaster Safety today.
Thanks again, Holly, for all that great information. But remember to pay attention to your body. Those are the key points here. Can you feel your heart rate increasing? Are you sweating, feeling fatigued, unfocused? These are all true signs for you to rest, seek shade, and water. Look out for your coworkers too, and be aware of individuals who are at higher risk for heat-related illnesses. Help reduce your risk of heat illnesses by staying hydrated, eat healthy foods, attain quality sleep, and also a good fitness level. But we want to thank you again for attending today's presentation on heat illness prevention. As a reminder, we're a nationwide OSHA consulting firm that offers safety and health training on site or through a learning management system. We can help with OSHA inspections, audits, develop written programs, and so much more. Feel free to reach out to us after the webinar for any questions at 888-403-6026. Also, feel free to follow us on social media for more news, updates, and safety information, or provide us with feedback on either Yelp, Google, or Facebook. We truly appreciate your time and hope you will take advantage of our monthly safety and health webinars. Everyone is invited to attend and they're always free. So just join us on our website for more information.